Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
You're watching a Fact TV presentation of the Wyndham Northeast Unified Elementary School District.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock and we will be calling to order the Wyndham Northeast Union Elementary District meeting. We'll do introductions. I like what Jack did in starting this up, so we'll start with Nicole and just go right around.
Nicole Barnett, admin to the superintendent and board recorder.
And most important person in.
Yeah.
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 Kathy Siano Goodwin, school board member here. Lynn Morgan, school board from Athens.
Harold Noyes, School Board from Athens, and the chair.
Cardi Merrill from Grafton School Board.
Rachel Plummer, school board Grafton. Angela Cartier, principal of Grafton Elementary School.
Andy House, superintendent of school.
Okay, thank you. Adjustments to the agenda. Been asked to have a short executive session, so we'll put that down maybe 8A. Just a short one. Everybody okay with that? Any other adjustments to the agenda?
I wanted to find out, if we've taken care of the problem with Doug Francis being not on.
Yeah, I can explain that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and Krista is just joining us.
is she?
I'm sorry, how is the executive session? Is it a student matter, personnel matter?
It's a student matter.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's more of a question than anything.
Nope, so that's fine, just want to make sure.
And we got Krista. Want to introduce yourself there? We just barely did the introductions.
Krista Gay, Athens.
All right, thank you, Krista. Do you have any adjustments to the agenda? No, right. Communication, public comments, we have no one here from the public, so bypass that. Review and approve minutes from March 2nd and March 21st.
I move that we approve them.
All right, so you were moving to approve both the March 2nd and March 21st?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? I have just one question.
The only one I saw was March 2nd.
I think they should have been together.
Yeah, I got March 21st.
It was one PDF.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
yeah, March 21st is out. Oh, there it is.
There it is, okay.
Yep.
All right, so motion's been made. The one question I have on the March 21st one is with Krista. Did you check with your boss? Can you be on the negotiating team?
I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, so you're not sure yet then?
It's one of those things where you submit a request and you have to follow up a few times because it gets lost somewhere, but I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, all right, well, hold on to that then. Maybe discuss it next meeting. That's the only question I have for the 21st. Anybody else? Okay, all in favor of approving March 2nd and March 21st minutes?
Aye.
Krista?
I
All right, so the minutes have been approved for both March 2nd and March 21st. All right, for reports, Angela.
Yes.
principal.
So it's been a bit since I did a report. I feel like it's been a couple of months, so I was trying to kind of backtrack and cover. So our enrollment right now is at 36. We recently had a family that moved that had 2 children here. So the projections have changed, and Harold, that's the document that I shared with you. So next year's, and then on that, next year's kindergarten is 6 or 7. The number changed.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get 14.
Yeah, we sent out the registration and did lots of outreach, and several families have moved either out of the SU or out of Athens Grafton. So there's a definite 6, and then we're tracking down 1 more.
Okay. You know what breakdown is from 36 we have right now? Do you have that? For Athens Grafton?
I'll tell you.
Not that it makes a big difference.
So Athens. One, we have a family from BF that already attends here, and we've approved for them to, the sister to come here. So there's an Athens, a BF, Athens.
Oh, that's just for kindergarten, right?
Yep,
You're doing,
Grafton, yep, so there's one
right.
Grafton.
Are you looking for the whole breakdown?
Yeah, I was looking
We
for,
can get that for
since
you.
we have
For
36
the whole,
for the school itself right now.
oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, we have it.
But, you know, it doesn't really make a big difference. I was just
Yeah, no,
interested.
I can share that with you too.
Okay.
But presently we have 36 children.
Yes,
And one left.
we had 38, 2 left.
Two left.
Oh, two left.
Yeah, 36. Which, how many are in the 6th grade?
Eight. So the projections for next, so we have 33. If we have 7 kindergartners. Of course, if we have 6, there's 32.
Okay.
We hold weekly attendance meetings, and I know that we were wanting to start reporting out on attendance. So at those attendance meetings are the admin assistant, myself, the nurse, and our school counselor. And so for March, our attendance was 88.3%, and then our year to date is 94.4%. In March, we had a big March Madness, from when we returned from February break until the start of April break. We find that there is often an uptick in behavior referrals during this time, and we were attempting to curb that, and get in front of that a bit with incentives and celebrations for positive behavior. So our Climate and Culture Committee put together a system where students earn tickets, and each student would get an individual ticket for positive behavior. And then once the classroom, however many students were in there, earned 10, they could walk down to the office and get a small basketball. And the classrooms all contributed to filling a large bag. And then once the bag here in the front was full, there was an all school celebration. So we had a big pancake breakfast. We had spirit days by class, and as a whole school, we went to the Maple Sugar House, Plummer Sugar House, which was great. Had an ice cream social, and just had a lot of fun. St. Patrick's Day was a big hit. There was lots of leprechaun silliness happening, more so than I had expected, actually. It was like an all day long thing. The leprechaun was doing things. 6th grade success night. GES will be holding our 6th grade success night on Tuesday, June 20th at 6 p.m. in our gym. This is a chance to celebrate the 6th graders before they move on to the middle school of their choice. Keewaydin, our 6th graders will continue with tradition and are going to Keewaydin. The trip is planned for May 22nd to the 26th. Accompanying them on the trip is Vanessa Stern, which is our 3rd and 4th grade teacher. And during that week, Christy Lisai will take the 3rd and 4th graders, and this will be a chance for them to have an orientation into her classroom, whether they go next year or the following. It's just see how she runs her classrooms, and both teachers are really looking forward to kind of switching groups. And I imagine in years to come, Vanessa will reconnect with the kids that she had the year prior. She goes every year. Kindergarten play night. So we're going to host a kindergarten play and pizza night for families on Tuesday, May 16th from 5 to 6 p.m. Registration packets are going out on May 1st, and then they can bring that paperwork back with them when they come for the play night. Families will have an opportunity to come in and check out the classrooms, meet staff, and have pizza. It'll be a low-key way for families to meet each other and our staff. We have a weekly play group that happens here every Thursday. We welcome families from the area, and this is put on by the Springfield Parent Child Center. And it's been a really great success and a good opportunity for our staff to build relationships with people in our community. Our school counselor is always there, and sort of wears the hat during that time of counselor and also home to school liaison and can work to help those families if they need any help. And then staff is also encouraged to step out of their classroom for a minute or two and go down and see those families. Our PTO sponsored the Montshire to come here to school to work with our K-3 students was one group and our 4 to 6 students were another. And the youngers worked on rollways and our older students worked on creating some scribble bots that kind of shook around and made scribble marks. That was super fun. And for staffing, so we just hired Jessica Lake as our 15-hour-a-week nighttime custodian. Comes with a lots of cleaning experience and a willingness and eagerness to learn the maintenance aspect of it. Gary, myself, and a classroom teacher interviewed her and all recommended her for the position. She had 3 glowing references, 2 of which are staff members here at Grafton. So she came with some connections, which was nice. And just began just a couple days ago on Tuesday. You might have just seen her leave. And she'll be coming in Tuesday through Friday from 3 to 6, working a longer day on Friday, so mopping can get done. And then I know I wasn't there Monday, but we have a music opening for next year, which is 2 days a week, a 0.4. As you know, the music teacher left mid-year. Title I reading intervention, but that is funded through Title I, but it is an opening here. Special education funded through the SU, but that is an opening. Our wonderful special education teacher is retiring. And then kindergarten will be posted, as I heard Andy explain, on Monday. She's working towards her provisional and she actually took her praxis today. Other than that, I'm hopeful that the staff will be returning next year. And then just an update on the playground. I submitted the last of everything to you today, Andy. It's probably buried in your email. And I did check in. I know one of the things that was asked here was to have the PE teacher take a look at maybe some things that could be incorporated on the playground from his perspective. And so we're getting disc golf. That was one thing, and they're stationary, so they can be moved all around. So that was the PE contribution to that. So there's some benches, the equipment that we had decided during our playground committee meetings. And that's all. And then the wood chips too is all in there.
Did you get a bid for that?
Yep. $6,000 for 50 yards of playground grade wood chips. It may need to be edited, but are a few of these if you wanted to look at the.
What was it, guys?
6.
And how many folks go to the play group on Thursday?
How many?
Yeah. Children?
How many children?
Yeah.
It varies week to week, but I'd say 6 on average. Weather-wise and such, it depends.
And what's the age of that?
Younger than kindergarten, so birth to 5.
And are these prospective children for the either Central or Westminster group that are coming back?
They're mostly Grafton and Athens families that come. They were traveling to Springfield, and just this location is closer and more within their community. So they reached out to us from the Springfield Child Center and asked if they could use our space.
But if they would be prospective preschoolers and they enrolled in our programming, they would either attend Westminster or Central as far as a classroom based on space. Off the top of my head, I don't have the breakdown right now of how many Grafton or Athens kiddos are attending right now.
So going back to your March Madness, do you think you were successful in?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I mean, the referrals went a little bit down. But not enough that we
Not
can
drastic.
say that
Yep.
you know, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was an incentive anyway, you know,
Try it again next year, see what's again.
yeah.
Any other questions for?
Have we made any progress on the write-up to try to get some tuition students in here from the outside? We talked about that, I believe,
Yeah.
at the last meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, Kate and I have it to put something together.
Okay.
To try and recruit.
Because of, I mean, the assets here are unbelievable. For kids, okay? Right now. I mean, we need kids.
Yeah.
So it's important that people understand what we have here.
We gonna have a committee for that,
For what?
to promote the school with the realtors?
At
and
the last-
Kind of booklet.
At our last board meeting, I think it was just said for Kate and I
Okay.
Yeah, I think,
to
yeah,
put something
I think they're
together.
gonna put something together that would be brought back to
Right.
the local folks to, you know,
Okay.
to kind of.
Yeah.
What should be added, what shouldn't.
so you got any other questions, for Angela? Okay, Heidi has financial report for us.
Yeah, I met with Jim today. He and I have been communicating. He put together this package here, and I have one also. Which I'll hand out. You want one to read?
Yeah.
Let me see. Then you can pass them, but,
Yeah. Executives.
I have one here. Real. So this is a report, identifying the finances of, WNUESD, as of April 11th, basically. And, you know, it's a little hard to read through the whole thing because the budget that is there was again constructed a year ago before Jim got here and was, you know, very erratic, to say the least. So the key thing looking down through here is to go right to the bottom line. And you can see that the budget is 1,776,984. And what we have spent and what we expect to spend is going to be $1,514,162, which means that we will have a surplus this year of 262,000 if this is correct. And I'm guessing it'll be about 250. That's what Jim and I think. When you get everything said and done this year, we'll have another surplus of about $250,000. But I think you can peruse this at your leisure, but the key things are the salaries are
Yep.
favorable. Tuition is favorable. Those are the big items. And then we haven't spent a lot of money on other stuff either. So I'd also put together another report, which I'm gonna hand out here, a few items.
So Hardy, just while you're doing that, just so everyone, make sure everyone's clear, when you said what we'll expend is about 1.5, that is the encumbered and what's currently expended, so encumbrances could change slightly, that 400,000 could go up or down, but it sounds like Jim's thinking it's gonna go up just a little bit,
Yes, maybe,
like what'll be spent?
yes.
Yeah, because, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you said what, this comes out to 262,
Yeah, it's
maybe
about
250.
250.
Yeah.
And another report that I'm gonna hand out, we did this as of the 11th of February, Jim and I. And at that time it was 240, so, you know, 240 then, 250,
Yeah.
260, probably gonna be about 250 in the good. So I'm not sure that I have enough of all of these to hand out to everyone. But maybe you guys could split one and pass
Yeah.
these down.
Taking into consideration inflation on fuel and electricity,
What's that?
fuel and electricity, is that in here?
That's in there. Everything is in there for spending. It's just hard to find it sometimes. It'll be much easier next year because we have a budget that is easily trackable next year. So as of February 19th, this little schedule that I put together shows you the big categories of spending costs. What we have, and of course, is salaries, teachers' salaries so far that we're estimating for the whole year will be 465,111. The budget is 523,296 this year, and next year 526,039. So we're favorable this year. So this year's budget and next year's budget, teachers' salaries by about 58,000 and 60,000. And that's because we have more teachers in our budget for next year, and we didn't have a full complement of teachers all year this year, like the one you hired in the middle of the year. So substitute salaries, we have nothing spent against that. Administrator salary, 85,000. Secretary salaries, 41,382. And facility technicians, 50,192. So total salary number is 641,685 on the actual basis. And for next year's budget, it's 739,342. And you can see that runs at about 42% of your total budget is salaries. Then when you add in the benefits, which are related to all of those salaries, you have another 13%. So 55% of the cost to run this school is salaries. Then you have the next biggest item, or one of the biggest items, is tuition for 7th and 8th graders and tuition for early education. And you can see this year it was 242,189 and 25,582. And the budget was higher for 23, so that left us with a nice favorable number there. That's a big reason for our favorable variance this year in our surplus, which is going to be about 80,000 bucks. So if you add those two numbers again, tuition is 17% of your spending. So salaries, tuition, and then the other big assessment is the WNESU assessment, which is 326,758 this year, goes down slightly in our budget for 24, but that runs at 18%. So what you have left is you're spending on your building about 6% and everything else about 4%. So that's where the costs are in this school system. So are there any questions on it?
Can we hire you to do this for the rest of our district, just so we have a nice snapshot?
Krista, do you have any questions for anybody? No? Okay.
I mean, this breakdown, Hardy, honestly, I know it'd be slightly different at different buildings because of their sizes or whatever, but I think it's really helpful. And
that's
I
what
think it's something that the average taxpayer can absorb and understand as opposed to like, you know,
Looking at all this,
yeah.
and basically, you could get that if he ran the other report, which is by, you know, cost center, by everything combined, which shows salaries and it shows benefits and stuff like that. So I think we ought to get him to do that in the future because it makes it easier for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
So the next schedule, but first I'll say we have a draft report of our audit for the WNUESD for June 30th, 2022. Now that's combined Westminster, us, and Athens.
Right.
And at that time, it looks like we're going to have a total surplus for all of us of 2,372,995, but 1,412,876 of that was from the prior years, 21 and 20. So we're going to have a surplus to split with Westminster for the 22 of a 960,119 probably, because we don't think this is going to change, but we'll know in the next few days. So with a surplus of 960,119, if you go to the next schedule on the little handout I have, you can see that we agreed with Westminster before that based on the tax dollars that were put into the school systems by Grafton, Athens, and Westminster, that's how we would split the surplus. So Grafton and Athens put in 1,777,236 in 2022, and Westminster put in 5,261,325 in taxes. So that would split 25.25% to Grafton, 74.75% to Westminster. So based on those percentages, we're going to have a $242,000 roughly surplus from 22. So when you add our surpluses all up, you have 242 for, you got 250 estimated for 23, and we had 350 last year. So that's a total of $742.7 thousand of surplus to spend in future years. And of that, we've only allocated basically 75,000 of that to our 2024 budget. So that leaves 667 for other spending years. Are there any questions about that?
Now, in one of our meetings, we had said, okay, so we'll add some to 24, add some to 25, and add some to 26.
So we've allocated some of that
Yeah.
all of that 350 basically,
Right.
but we have not allocated any of the 242 or the 250.
Okay.
So I
Will
think,
have to be in the future.
I think one of the things to think about and look at what, we started at the SU talking about facilities and trying to get a plan is also to look at, for you all to look at this building and to say, we know painting needs to happen. We know Essers won't cover it. So, how much is it look like it's gonna cost? When can we do it? Do we set some of these funds aside, for something like that?
Right.
And then other capital improvements that may or may not, so you can put it all towards taxes, right? Which I get it, but also if you've got some capital improvements that need to happen also, right? Should some of it go towards that?
Right.
So I'm not saying it should all go towards one or the other, but something to talk about and think about.
Yeah, because certainly we do have some capital improvements we have to do here, so. They'll take some of the heat off the taxpayers.
Yeah,
And we have time to think about this.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. That's why I just throw it out right now. Yeah.
it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to just mention and bring up is, back in December, the Commissioner of Taxes said that he was hoping to make the homestead utility, the homestead yield, $15,479. And basically that, and what's actually happened is this, the legislature has moved to the Senate, the House has moved to the Senate, a yield bill saying $15,477 for a yield, which is very important, as we'll see on the next schedule, a couple schedules. And then they have also said that the non-homestead property tax yield should be at 1.388 per $100. So what this means is, you take as an example the non-homestead rate, which if you aren't a homestead person, qualify as a homestead in the state, then you pay non-resident taxes.
Yeah.
The non-resident tax rate is divided by the CLA to come up with what is actually charged on the tax bill to everybody in the state. And in Athens, the CLA is 87.64, 0.8764. So that means your tax rate for non-resident could be 1.606 next year, which is down, I believe.
Yeah.
From what it is this year. And in Grafton, that'll be 1.4170, which is down from last year. Now, the next two schedules are what's also important related to the school is the homestead tax rate. So the homestead tax rate is developed from this school, the WNUESD, and the high school, because we send kids to the high school. So they take the two budgets, one of them is the WNUSD for Athens, you can see, and that you divide that by the equalized pupils, same thing for the high school, and these were approved budget numbers that were approved by the voters. And you come up with your education spending per pupil, and then you apply the new yield, this 15,477 to it, and you divide that, and that comes up to 1.4144 and 1.2705. Now, the way that gets split to each town is based on how your pupils are split between the high school and the school. And you can see in Athens, 59.01%, according to the state, are in this school, and 40.99% go to the high school. So you multiply that times the homestead rate above for each school, and you come up with your prorated share, and you divide that by the CLA, and you come up with a combined rate, which should be for Athens, 1.5466 for next year, which is down by 8 cents.
Where is that number?
Which one?
Okay.
This is what,
Oh, okay.
this is what it comes down to.
So that's Athens. Grafton with similar calculation. The only difference is when you come down to the split between the WNUESD and the high school, you can see that Grafton is 51.42 here and 48.58 at the high school.
Right.
So, and our CLA is 0.9795, and that's largely because we had a reappraisal a couple of years ago, so it's much higher than a lot of places in the state. So when you add those together, you come up with a combined rate for Grafton of 1.3727, which is down by 9.44 cents for next year.
9 cents? 9 cents?
9.44.
9.44. It's right there at the bottom of that schedule.
Yeah, right down here.
So as long as the Senate doesn't change the numbers, that's what it should be. Are there any questions there? That's basically my spiel for tonight.
Have you shared, this with, our council?
What's that?
Have you shared this with Ken Record?
I always do. I haven't yet. She and I work very closely.
So am I correct in that, like, the little over 1% for the high school, because kids are going to Leland and Gray or somewhere else?
Yeah,
Okay, just wanted to make sure I had that. This is 48.5 and 40.
well, the 48.5, the state says we have so many kids, equalized,
Right.
and they say you have so many in the high school for Grafton and so many in the school, and then that's a percentage, how many of the total. So that strictly should be kids at the high school. It doesn't count kids, well, you get to count kids from Leland and Gray in the high school, I believe.
Right, but
So they're included in that number,
shouldn't that number then equal 1 though, or 100?
but it should add
The
to,
2,
the two numbers should add to it.
you know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
48.50, 48.58, and 40.99,
no,
or 89.
no, that's you have to add the WNUSD and that number. Those are the kids in Grafton only. In other words, of the Grafton
Oh, okay,
kids,
I got- yeah,
48.58 are in the high school.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
51.
I was combining the two high schools, thinking that was
school.
just high school age
Right.
kids, okay, sorry.
And then it's the other way for Athens.
So spending per child is 21,089.14 for Grafton.
That's because the state says we have 79 equivalent students. And that's what the state tells us we have. We only have, as you know now, 33.
But when you break it down,
It's
for what we're paying each. The 1.5 million and 33 students. It's a lot.
we're spending about $36,000 a student on kids in this school. Based on the budget that's going to be approved. Which is why we need to get more students.
All right, any other questions for Hattie? Krista, no? Okay. Andy, do you have anything? I know you're not on here, but Superintendent reporting.
We'll have, we send it out to all boards, so, tomorrow night. You'll be getting a report, our SU report, and it'll have, so I just send it out to all board members, even though it's an SU report, but it'll have, quite a bit of information just around some new procedures that we're pushing out for next year. A breakdown of, projects that we're working on, and just, some other pieces. One thing I just wanted to add, that, Angela didn't, because it's coming up in June. So I believe it's June 13th, correct me here, is that right? So we last year began working with the Keene Swamp Bats on doing reading with Ribby. And so we did it last year. And one of the things, Angela really brought up was some other principles, but, can we provide transportation? Because a lot of families, they cannot attend. And so the reading with Ribby pieces, there's a whole reading program, to encourage kids to read. And then if you read X number of books, you get a t-shirt and you get to go to a Swamp Bats game for free and you get to go out on the field. It's a nice community event. And so some of our families are unable to access it because of transportation. So Angela has, just to give her chops here, has really been pushing me like, you got to provide transportation. So this year we are we're looking into how we can provide transportation, and we're, how many you can't bring the whole, clan, but, with mom and dad or, type of thing, or the equivalent, and do those kind of things. And so, but that's June 13th. And I talked to Kevin Watterson, who's the president of the Keene Swamp Bats. And he is just like, these last 2 years and this year even more, the participation rate of Windham County is just, they've never done it. And I just did it as a whim because I used to live in Keene. And so I'm like, how come we don't do it? And I talked, and I go to games and see a lot of our families there already. And I'm like, how do we get involved? And last year he's like, well, okay, well, we were a little late, and this year they jumped on it, and we've just had great participation. So it's, it'll be I think a great event. So good.
Carol, just to revisit your question about Athens and Grafton and the breakdown. So overall in the whole school, 14 are in Athens and 21 are in Grafton. And that totals 35. And then there's the one Westminster.
Yep.
I said BF before. I should have said Westminster. It's on the pre-K as BF.
Yeah, okay. Very good, thank you. Okay, and if there's no other questions, go down to number 7. District name change. Has anybody been given any thought to that?
Well, just before you jump into it, I got some legal advice.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm giving you the right advice before you get down this road. And so, our attorney, basically said that the board should vote to change the name. And then we would work with the AOE and the Secretary of State to officially change the name. And I think, there's a piece that we may have to go out to like some stakeholder. Like we should ask, like, what do you want to be called? Like, and put that out there. We can work with that as you do it. But, I think that, and then he said, but it's ultimately up to the board what your name would be. So, so I just wanted to make sure before we jumped into it that we didn't get into any legal loopholes. So basically he's advising, if you take a vote to change the name, you can propose a name. We'll put that out there, solicit feedback from folks just so that we're inclusive in that sense. And then we'll work with the AOE and the Secretary of State. It's also going to mean just from the business office, we're going to have to do a lot of things on the back end and take care of that, but that's fine. I mean, it's just some name changes.
So we have an average timeline for that, and it's going to be official?
He did not provide a timeline, so I think it's just.
Oh.
I didn't know if they had to do it like for July 1st, which is the new.
That would be, preferable to try and get it all done, so July 1, because we got a new
That's the
software,
whole-
accounting software coming in and all that stuff. Be great to do it at one time, not do it twice,
If you could, but,
so.
so I guess maybe the next step for us, Andy,
Artie, you're kind of,
yeah, he's
you're
thinking-
wincing over there.
I think the AOE was very slow.
yeah, I mean, that was suggested by July 1st, however.
Yeah, I will tell you that the new interim director responded to a letter we sent within 24 hours. It was impressive, wasn't the answer we wanted, but we got a response in 24 hours, so, maybe.
I mean,
I mean, we'll beat the drum and we'll do what we gotta do to get the name changed, but I mean, I don't think I know another district that just went through this process and it didn't seem to be a heavy lift, so.
wonder if like a thought exchange, and then if we're doing a community forum in May, if that would be a good
Yeah,
opportunity
Yeah.
to get feedback, right? So there's like an in-person one, but then also like an electronic and.
But I think you all need to make a motion and then, vote in favor of wanting to change the name. And then we would work on what that name would be and we can do all that stuff, so.
The name of the district, right? Not also the name of the school or also the name of the school?
No, this is just the district.
this is that's what I was thinking of, that is
Yeah.
just the district, not the name of the school, or, this is always be Grafton Elementary School to me, but. But the district name.
Yeah.
Something that's usable.
Yeah, something that, you don't have to
That'll be a big-
go through the alphabet to find it.
Yes, you and Rockingham Board and all
Yeah.
these other boards.
So can we have a motion, to change the name of the school district? Anybody?
I make a motion that we work on changing the name of the school district.
All right, so Lynn's made the motion to change the name. Any seconds? Kathy seconded that. Any discussion on that?
I think I'm just I'll just add in what Kathy was just saying. I mean, I think there's some positive reasons for doing it. It would help identify
Yeah.
much better when you say the Wyndham Northeast Union Elementary, people are like, well.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And, so I think that would be advantageous, to give the district some personality back that you all lost. And
Yeah.
you used to have Athens, you used to have Grafton, and you had the Athens Grafton.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where you go from there?
So motion been made, seconded. Any more discussion on whether or not we should change the name of the district? Yeah, all in favor of changing the name of the school district? Krista?
I
Aye for Krista?
Aye.
Kathy? Aye.
Aye.
So that is unanimous. We will work on changing the name of our school district. Maybe we can just throw out, has anybody given any thoughts for any name? I know we put it out to you on Monday.
What was it prior? Athens Grafton Joint District? Is that what it was? That's our
Yeah.
Wi-Fi name. That's what.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, that's what I had put down, the Athgraft Elementary School District. Only because that's what it's always been to me anyway.
So you say in initials and not the word?
Yeah, just Athgraft. Instead of Athens Grafton. I don't know why you
But they would just have words. I hate all these abbreviations that people throw at me in my emails and between school board and this select board. I go nuts, like,
Yeah.
and I have to figure out, what are they talking about? I just like, Athens Grafton. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's either or, either you can call it the Athens Grafton Elementary School District or Athgraft or.
Again, you don't have to decide tonight, but I
Right.
mean, like Athens Grafton School District, Athens Grafton Elementary School District.
Do we, so
Then you'd be the ages.
do we need to put elementary school or can we
I
just?
like that. Okay. I mean, but we are listed in like the state's things oftentimes for like different things as like Athens Grafton, because sometimes I'll go to W.
Oh, I know. Yes,
G.
to be very honest with you, some of these, state, testing that they're doing, they have left the building off.
Yeah.
Because it used to be combined with, with Westminster. So they got Westminster Building on there, and then it's like, they list like Central sometimes twice, because C looks like a G and
Right.
stuff like that, and so I gotta call them up, and what was the latest one? I think it was
the building audit
the
thing.
building on it, yeah, they're gonna come in and do you know, and so they're very amenable and make the changes, but it's like, again, kind of where I am, it's like, you know, the stepchild kind of syndrome, and I, you know, or overlooked.
Oh, let's get back to using words and.
I mean, it's fine to me, I mean,
I'm
if you,
sorry, I am old fashioned.
yeah, I mean, if you wanna call it the Athens Grafton School District. Do you wanna put the word elementary in there, which is just something for you guys to be thinking of, and
Yeah.
certainly we can talk about it next month, or at the next meeting, you guys can chew it over for a month and whether or not you want the abbreviations or you want the full name, doesn't make a difference to me.
And like
Okay, good with that.
Angela said, like, we could do a very targeted thought exchange to both communities,
Right.
just to generate some, you know, like. See if there's any other names that people come up with. And,
Yep.
You know,
Angela, could you send out like a poll in like the Grafton, the newsletter that you send out each week?
I can include a
Yeah.
survey, yeah.
that's what a thought exchange is, Krista. It's kind of, it's, the thought exchange allows us to basically have an online focus group. So you're not telling them, here are your choices. It's like, hey, we're gonna change the name. What do you think a name should be? And then everyone can join in and add their 2 cents. And then you can like, you know, someone could say Grafton, and you can say, everyone can say they like that, but then someone else could say Athens Grafton Elementary School District, and people would be like, yeah, that's the one. And it gives you just, you can, and then you see other people's, but it's all anonymous. So you can, you know, you don't feel like you're being targeted.
Yeah.
Does the same thing that you're asking for, so.
I just thought sending it out in the weekly newsletter would just be a easy way to
Yeah.
get the people who probably have the most interest.
That's a good.
Do you have to have an account, Kate?
Yeah, and if you wanna put in that, just if you come to the community forum, we'll discuss it a little bit there,
Like vote or something.
you know, so.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion on this? We'll table it until next meeting and come up with some more. All right, the community forum night in May. Anybody have a date for that?
Angela, do you have anything you'd recommend for May? I mean, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Activity.
Could we have it on a Thursday? Would that be possible?
I don't see why not.
I know the school board, we technically are either like the 2nd or the 4th, but we're meeting on the 2nd. I don't know if the 4th would work.
What is our schedule gonna be moving forward for board meetings?
It'd be the
The 2nd and the 4th,
the
but
second, and if you
second,
need the fourth, we can do the fourth.
and the 2nd is when I do my principal's
Yeah.
report.
Yeah,
Okay, 2nd and, okay.
so if we do Thursday night for the forum, I would ask it to be the fourth one, because I have select board on the 3rd Thursday and school board on the 2nd Thursday, so.
So we're saying, the 25th.
I didn't realize that was Memorial Day weekend. So I didn't realize that when I was suggesting the days.
So are you good or not?
Well, I just don't know if that'll affect things.
Being Thursday, not Friday, I think
Thursday.
Right.
it's Thursday, not Friday, so.
Okay, I'll have to attend virtually, but if it works for everyone else, I think that's an easy day.
Would the Thursday prior be better?
Pardon me?
Well, that's Harold has select board that.
Select board on the 3rd Thursday.
Okay.
So what,
It'd be the 4th Thursday, the 25th,
25th possibly.
and 6 o'clock for that.
yeah. Is that? Are you guys the 1st and 3rd, or are you the
Second
2nd
and 4th?
Okay,
Second and 4th.
Hold on, I need to just,
Yeah,
I gotta get everything on my calendar.
And we wanna have Zoom available.
yeah, because Krista
I will be on a flight. So if you all should do what day works best for all of you then.
All right, so
I think-
Krista won't be here, nor Lynn will not be here, she'd be in Montana, so,
I think Zoom would be.
But that's-
For parents if they're.
Yeah, we can have Zoom available, that's not a.
yeah, so,
It was hard. I just remember that it was hard last time. People couldn't hear. So I'm just wondering how to
We may have to
address
use
that.
microphone, we've got time to plan it out, so we'll figure something out.
Is there another day of the week that would work for people then? I was just throwing out Thursdays just because that's like our alternate day, but if there's another day that would work for people.
see, Thursday's better for me, I had
Okay,
things on Tuesday and Wednesday, so,
okay.
Mondays are a hard day in general, but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
I believe it's-
I like Thursday. I guess.
Thursday, the 25th.
Everybody else okay with Thursday? All right, well, we'll call it May 25th, 6 P.M. Here, the community forum.
What, I have a question for Angela.
Yeah.
Jack did a lot of the notes and he had questions. Is that something, Angela, you could take time to look through those and?
I don't have them. I think Jack does.
All right.
Uh,
Krista, didn't you take a bunch of notes for the community forum last time?
I think Krista took Jackson.
Well, Jack
Yeah, I
sent
think-
me a set and I thought he sent.
Yeah,
it to-
Jack sent out, I thought, like photos. I took handwritten
Yeah.
notes in a notebook, but I'll need to find that. But Jack took photos of the board.
So I'm just
Oh.
wondering, before we meet, how much of that list
There
got
it is.
done? One was was teaching health, is there's a couple of teachers in there too that are gonna be hired. So yeah. That's gotta, we need to be updated on this before we have a forum, because we may get questions from folks.
I think I.
Does anybody have those photos? I don't
I
remember.
think
I
I
have
might
it
have them
here.
in my email.
Yeah.
I have it right here.
All right, so
Um,
Angela and Heidi, either I can stop at Jack's and see if he,
I have them right here.
okay,
You can just send them out to the board.
yeah, if you don't mind sending those out to us.
It's just very helpful to look at that, because we thought, I know in a couple of meetings past, we talked about it. we even have it in here.
I mean, I think all of this is addressed. I can type this up and like put my response or,
Sure,
Yeah, what was done.
so that would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that, please, for us, and sending that to us.
Cause that would also be helpful to have at the meeting,
Yeah.
like to say, this
Here
was
we
a
are.
question, here we are, here.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
right.
okay, what's next, so.
Yeah, so you're not
I
walking
mean,
in
there's
your
like
blind.
after school skiing. Reading intervention, Act 1. The bus, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, if they could do that, I'm sure that'll be great.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerning the community forum?
The only other thing, we're having this in May, we may wanna think about in September, as school starts. A date,
But yeah, we had talked about that,
yeah.
so might be something
What's
that's,
that gonna look like,
and it's something we could look to try and set at the next one.
yeah,
Yeah,
but you could be thinking about dates.
Yeah.
Once you know your schedule better than once.
yeah, so we'll try to set up a September date to have another forum.
I just sent that to you and all.
Thank you.
The only other old business, I should have added this, adjustments, the lease. Is it the town of Grafton that has to give you a lease, but that piece of land has to be added?
Yeah,
And I know Debo did all the documentation on that, I don't know. Jack send it to you?
I don't know if it's been, because,
I don't have anything.
yeah, it has to be like added to our lease, that additional piece of property.
So who does that? You guys do that, or we do it at
No.
the town?
Thank Kim,
Morgan doesn't,
yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah.
So we check
And I know
on
the status, last I knew, was it was at the lawyer's office.
that. Oh, okay.
And the lawyer needs to weigh in and approve it, which it shouldn't be a problem. Because talking with Bill Kearns, it's been taken care of as far as the property owner is concerned. Grafton
Yeah,
owns
right.
it now. It
Right.
just needs to send it to the
So
school.
it's kind of hung up with the lawyer, I think.
Yeah,
But as far as the school being involved, I mean, the school,
just part of the lease,
It's part of the lease.
yeah, right, so we don't have anything until it's finalized.
right?
So it's still in the lawyer's hands.
And probably on our next agenda for that second meeting in May, to plan for the forum.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, we'll. When we have it on the second Thursday, maybe we'll. Do kind of a schedule or whatever.
For May 11th, yeah.
All right, you want to, do you want to do the director's comment before we go into executive session or?
We have new business? Andy was gonna mention about the premises.
Oh, that, just an update, so Mr. Francis is a school-based clinician, and he's an at-will employee. So he doesn't go on the list of certified teachers that you all approve.
Okay, what does it mean by at will?
Which
I can
means he
talk
doesn't
about that.
fall- He doesn't fall under our collective bargaining agreement.
Oh, okay.
And so boards approve collective bargaining agreement certified personnel. And he doesn't need a Vermont certification through the AOE
Okay.
to do his position, but he is contracted with us as an
Okay.
at-will. So an at-will employee just means like. you
It
can let him
just-
go anytime.
Oh, okay.
At will just means that he's allowed to quit without penalty and we can fire him for any reason that's not illegal. So it just means he doesn't have a contract.
That bill sounds so much better than fire.
But she's an attorney, she uses.
This is
but-
literally what I do. The vast majority of people in the country are at will. So every time I see a contract, I'm like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
Well, he's still a certified clinician.
Right,
Yes.
so that's part of his,
Right.
but it's not through the AOE, and under collective bargaining and board responsibility is the hiring and firing of certified.
So, if he's at will, sure, so. And so.
No, he's not.
He
He's
can
not,
quit.
he works for the SU
Yeah,
and for the supervisory union. And so he's covered under our insurance policy. If he was a contracted service, then he would have to carry his own insurance.
Okay. I have contact.
The only thing at will affects is if they can quit without penalty and if we can fire them without penalty.
Just like the admin
He comes in
assistant's
through a
not on
different-
there and neither
different
is
phone.
custodian. Right. Because they're at well also.
We're gonna under.
Collective bargaining agreement.
No,
They're not.
the custodians are under a collective bargaining agreement.
yes,
They're
The
under,
admin assistants.
but the majority of our admin assistants are not.
You can't be under a CBA if you're an at-will employee because that inherently means that you have a contract and we would have to follow the steps in there in order to terminate you.
So long ago, school admin assistants were moved to at-will because they were considered confidential secretaries. And within the entire SU, there are only 2 positions that are quote unquote secretaries that fall under the collective bargaining agreement. And those 2 positions are at the high school.
You all set, Kevin?
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion about? About new business, any new business?
On the sheet ahead. So under date for next meeting,
Yeah, the follows
Day.
D6. Remember, that's the one having to do with the size of the
But is that
classroom?
where we wanna do it, is under date of next meeting?
Well, that should be new business.
That's just new business.
Well, I
for
can
the
bring
next
that,
meeting.
let's bring that up if you don't mind. We'll bring that up on the new business.
Well,
Even though we discussed it,
we put it there so that you could discuss it at the next meeting.
Oh, not at
Oh.
this meeting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
okay,
So that's a topic
for next,
for next
For next
meeting
time.
that'll
Okay.
go on the new
gotcha,
business.
okay.
all right,
That's why it seemed out. Got it, okay.
all right, so we got that for next week. Any other new business? All right, do you want to go into executive session at this point?
You want direct comment?
Or if we can do director's comment before we go into executive session, that's fine.
Yeah, it's probably easy.
All right, do you anticipate having any action coming out of executive?
There won't be any,
session?
I
Then
don't,
I would recommend doing director's comments and that
okay,
way.
all right, yeah, because I don't expect any action, just a little discussion. Christie, have any comments?
Yeah, I just want to thank Hardy so much for all the work that he did on that. And I just want to reiterate how thankful I am to work with all of you. I know we see a lot of stuff about school boards, but I think we're a great group of colleagues. And I just want to thank you all for all you do.
Good, thank you. Kathy?
No, nice meeting and, it's great to get started.
Yep. Lynn?
I, first, thank you, Hardy, I actually sort of understand it.
Yeah, it is. It's
Let's try to make it.
not easy.
Take that with here.
How do you get any?
I would just like to thank Angela for the weekly updates that she sends out. to
Yep, I
GM.
love those.
I mean, I don't know whether other schools are doing that,
They do.
but they're great.
Yep.
We've tried to move to a common kind of, platform, but also the consistency of that messaging going out.
Yeah.
So we took some of that from what she's already been doing, so
Yeah.
and pushed it out to other schools.
Yeah, it's great.
Give any? And I just want to thank everybody too. It's great way to start. We've got a lot of work done. So let's close out now and go into executive session. I suggest that Angela stays with us. And
There's some verbiage and I don't have it with me because
Yeah,
Priscilla always kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
it has to do with,
Let me see if I can find it real quick and then. Hang on.
yeah, so that we wouldn't be.
All right, because you want to make sure you do it perfectly.
Yeah. At a disadvantage of some sort.
Is it a legal matter?
No, it's just, but we just want to make sure.
So,
Uh,
let's see.
I have the language if you're looking for that.
Yeah. We,
What topic is it on? And I can just read it to you.
It's a student matter.
Student matter.
It just is after, it would have to be making a finding that general public knowledge would clearly place the public body or person involved at a substantial disadvantage.
That's the
Yeah,
language we
that's the
needed.
language you want, all right?
And then you need to invite administration. if that's
Invite
who you want.
administration to stay, stay here with us.
So do I make a motion?
Yes,
I make a motion that we go into an executive session regarding a matter of which a specific finding that premature general public knowledge would clearly place the individual or our public body involved in a substantial disadvantage.
all right, so we're now in executive session.
This meeting was recorded by Falls Area Community Television, located at 1 Hospital Court, Bellows Falls, Vermont. If you would like a copy of the meeting, our phone number is 802-463-1613, or email us at fact810@gmail.com. Falls Area Community TV. Keeping government honest.